Hello friends, welcome to you in this video lecture on kinematics and mechanisms. This is lecture number 1A under the subject Theory of Mechanisms and Machines. This lecture is specially designed for the GATE aspirants of mechanical engineering and the students of mechanical engineering having 4-year semester course will also be benefited by this lecture. The contents of this lecture are as follows. What are those? Mechanics and its branches, introduction to degrees of freedom, kinematic pairs, links, kinematic chain, and we will draw kinematic diagram. Let us start with the subject mechanics. Let us recapitulate. The subject mechanics was divided into two groups. One is statics, another one is dynamics. The subject statics deals with stationary systems, that is, the systems do not change with time. Whether dynamics deals with the movable systems, that is, the systems which moves with time and changes their position with time. Further, the dynamics divided into two groups, kinematics and kinetics. In kinematics, we deals the motion only on their geometric aspects. We do not consider the cause of the motion, that is the force. That doesn't mean the force is absent. Force is present there, but we do not consider the force. We'll analyze the motion of the system only on geometric aspects. Whether in kinematics, we'll consider the forces. Now come to the definition of a machine. What is machine? A machine is a device which transfers and transforms the motion and force or power from the source to the load. Now let me describe. Machine transfers motion. Transfers means, let us say it is a IC engine. In IC engine, the motion of piston is transferred to the crank. And what is the motion of the piston? The piston has a linear motion that will be transformed to a rotary motion of the crank. So motion is transferred from piston to crank and transformed from linear motion of piston to rotary motion of the crank. So this is the definition of machine. That is, machine is a device which transfers and transforms the motion and force or power from the source to the load. Which one is the source for IC engine? The piston is the source of power or force and load is the crank. For the study of kinematics, a machine is referred to a mechanism. So the subject kinematics deals with the geometric aspects of motion only. We do not consider the force. So in kinematics, the machine is referred to a mechanism. So when we will study kinematics, we can consider the machine as a mechanism. For example, an IC engine is referred to a slider crank mechanism in kinematic analysis. We will see later that a IC engine can be considered as a slider crank mechanism in kinematic analysis. Mechanism is a combination of rigid bodies. This is the definition of mechanism. It is a combination of rigid bodies. The rigid bodies, which are known as also links, capable of relative motion. So the rigid bodies or links are capable of relative motion. And the interconnections between links of a mechanism are called kinematic pair. So the links are connected by kinematic pairs. And there is a direct analogy between structure, mechanism and machine with three branches of mechanics. What are those? The structure is related to statics. In statics, we have studied structure. The degrees of freedom was 0, that is non-movable. Structure has no motion. That's why we have analyzed in statics. And mechanism is to kinematics, I have told you, and machine is to dynamics. So a machine is referred to a mechanism in the study of kinematics, and in dynamics we will call it as a machine. So these are the definitions of structure, mechanisms, and machine. Now let us introduce you the concept of degrees of freedom. What is degrees of freedom? The degrees of freedom is the minimum number of independent coordinates required to completely define the relative movements of the body. So it is the minimum number of independent coordinates that's required to completely define the relative movements of the body. Let us describe it. Now let us find what is the degree of freedom of an unconnected rigid body in planar motion. So when the rigid body is in planar motion, what is the degrees of freedom? Say this is the rigid body A, B, C, D. This is the rigid body, rectangular rigid body, and it has a motion in xy plane. Now it has been moved from this position to prime position, that is A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. Now say for point C to point C prime, two independent coordinates, that is delta x and delta y, can specify point C dash, delta x and delta y. Now to specify the orientation of the body, we want this rotational motion, that is delta theta, about an axis which is perpendicular to this plane of motion. So by these three independent coordinates, we can completely specify the motion of the rigid body ABCD. So the degrees of freedom of the rigid body in planar motion is 3. And what are the independent coordinates? They are delta x, delta y, and delta theta. An unconnected rigid body in plane motion has 3 degrees of freedom. The independent coordinates are delta x, delta y, and delta theta. Now say for the body is moving in a space. So the degrees of freedom of an unconnected body in a space can be defined by 6 independent coordinates. What are those? Translation along 3 mutually perpendicular axes, that is along x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. So translation along x is delta x, translation along y is delta y, and translation along z is delta x. So these are 3 independent coordinates, and the body can rotate also about 3 axes. The rotation about x is delta alpha, the rotation about y is delta beta, and rotation about z is delta gamma. So 6 independent coordinates are required to completely specify the relative motion of the rigid body. So the body in space, an unconnected or free rigid body in space, having 6 degrees of freedom. A completely free unconnected rigid body has 6 degrees of freedom in a 3-dimensional space. And the independent coordinates are delta x, delta y, delta z, delta alpha, delta beta, and delta gamma. Now let us come to the kinematic pair. Kinematic pair is an element of mechanism which joins different links. So the interconnection between links are called kinematic pair. A kinematic pair permits relative motion between links. That we will show. The kinematic pair permits relative motion between links. the degrees of freedom of a kinematic pair is the number of independent coordinates required to completely specify the relative motion between links. Say two links are connected by a kinematic pair. So the number of independent coordinates required to completely specify the relative motion between two links is the degrees of freedom of that kinematic pair. So I am repeating this once again. The degrees of freedom of a kinematic pair is the number of independent coordinates required to completely specify the relative motion between links. Next point. The independent coordinates are known as pair variables. The independent coordinates which are required to completely define the relative motion between links are also known as pair variables. So the independent coordinates are known as pair variables. Kinematic pairs are broadly classified as number 1 is lower pair, number 2 is higher pair, number 3 is wrapping pair. So there are three types of pairs: lower pair, higher pair and wrapping pair. So let us describe the kinematic. Let us start with lower kinematic pair. Lower pair. When the connection between links is made through area contact is called a lower pair. So lower pair connects two links through area contact. There are 6 lower kinematic pairs. What are those? The first one shown in figure A, that is a revolute or turning pair. Shown in figure B is prismatic pair. Figure C shows a screw pair. Figure D shows a cylindrical pair. Figure E shows a planar pair. And figure F shows a spheric pair. Let me describe them one by one. Say for number A, that is revolute or turning pair, where link 1 is fixed and a cylindrical hole is made on link 1 on which 2 is passed through the cylindrical hole and 2 is a cylinder. There are 2 stoppers on link 1 which restricts the translatory motion of link 2. So link 2 can only rotate about its own axis. So link 2 have only rotation about its own axis. So one independent coordinate, that is delta theta, can completely specify the relative motion between 1 and 2. So the degree of freedom of revolute pair is 1. Let me show the animation of revolute pair. So link 1 is fixed. This is link 1. Link 1 is fixed and 2 can only rotate about the axis of the revolute pair here. So the degree of freedom of revolute kinematic pair is 1. Now let us come for the prismatic pair. Figure B shows a prismatic pair. 1 is fixed link and a rectangular hole is made on 1. Through hole is made and 2 can translate along the hole only. So one independent coordinate, that is delta S, can completely define the relative motion between 1 and 2. Hence the degrees of freedom of a prismatic pair is 1. Let me show the animation. This is link 2. sorry, this is link 1, which one is fixed, and this is link 2. Black one is link 2. Let me show the animation. So link 2 have only translation along the axis of rectangular hole made on link 1. Now come for the third one, that is a screw pair. On the screw, the nut can rotate as well as translate. So let us fix one, that is we have fixed the screw and nut can rotate and translate along one. So there are two motions, one is translation and second one is rotation. But the rotation and translation depends on each other. They are not independent. One depends on other. How? If say delta theta is 2 pi, then delta s will be lead of the screw. So a complete rotation of the nut can make a translation by an amount lead. So delta theta and delta s are not independent on each other. So one of them can completely specify the relative motion between screw and the nut. So the degrees of freedom of the screw pair is 1 also. Let me show the animation. This is the nut. This is the nut which is translating and rotating about the screw. But translation and rotation are not independent to each other. That's why the degrees of freedom is 1. Let us come to the next kinematic lower pair, that is cylindrical pair. Link 1 is fixed and link 2 is a cylindrical part, and on one a cylindrical hole is made. Here there is no stopper on link 1. So 2 can rotate as well as slide along 1. So 2 have rotation as well as translation along the axis of the hole. And translation and rotations are independent on each other. They have no relation. So a cylindrical pair have 2 degrees of freedom and pair variables are delta s and delta theta. Let me show the animation of screw pair. This is a animation of cylindrical pair. The moving part is link number 2. So 2 can translate as well as rotate about 1, and translation and rotation are independent on each other. So degrees of freedom of cylindrical pair is 2. Let us move to the next kinematic lower pair, that is a planar pair. In a planar pair, a block is kept on a fixed surface. So fixed surface is 1, the fixed body is 1, and block is kept on the plane surface on 1, and it has 3 degrees of freedom. It has 3 independent coordinates required to specify the motion between 1 and 2. What are those? Translation along x direction, translation along y direction, and rotation about z. So the pair variables are delta x, delta y, and delta theta. So the degrees of freedom of a planar pair is 3. Let us come for the last one, that is a spheric pair, or this is a ball and socket joint. So one is the fixed link. One spherical hole is made on 1 and this spherical part is embedded on 1. Now this is the rod attached with the ball, the axis of the rod, this is the axis of the rod. The position of axis of the rod can be defined by these two angles, delta beta and delta alpha. So by these two we can fix the position of the axis of the rod. Now the rod can spin about its own axis by an angle delta theta. So these three coordinates, delta beta, delta alpha and delta theta, can completely define the relative motion between 1 and 2. So a spheric pair has 3 degrees of freedom and the pair variables are delta beta, delta alpha and delta theta. Let me show the animation of the same. This is the motion of spheric pair. Now let me make a table of all kinematic lower pairs at once. We have explained all kinematic lower pairs in this table together. What are the kinematic pairs? Revolute or turning pair. This is the revolute or turning pair. It has 1 degree of freedom and pair variable is delta theta. Second one, that is B, is prismatic pair. It has also 1 degree of freedom and the pair variable is delta S. C, figure C shows screw pair. Screw pair has also 1 degree of freedom and the pair variables are delta theta or delta S, because delta theta and delta S depends on each other. So it has 1 degree of freedom. For cylindrical pair, it has 2 degree of freedom and pair variables are delta theta and delta S, because delta theta and delta S are independent to each other. They do not depend on each other. Number 5 is planar pair. It has 3 degrees of freedom and the pair variables are delta X, delta Y, delta theta. For spheric pair, it has also 3 degrees of freedom and the pair variables are delta theta, delta alpha and delta beta. So we have explained all 6 lower kinematic pairs. Now for a planar mechanism we have only revolute and prismatic pairs, because in a planar mechanism all points of the mechanism will lie in a same plane. So this condition can be satisfied by only these two pairs. Other pairs do not satisfy this. So only these two, that is revolute or turning and prismatic pair, are available in planar mechanism. Other will not satisfy the condition of planar mechanism. Now let us come to higher pairs. In higher pairs, elements are connected through a point or line contact. What are the example? Example of ball bearing and roller bearing. In ball bearing, the ball is connected to the inner races of bearing by a point contact. And similarly for roller bearing, the roller is connected to the inner races of the bearing through a line. So here the contact has been made by a line contact. So ball bearing and roller bearing are the examples of higher kinematic pairs. And for all higher kinematic pairs, the degrees of freedom is 2, because the ball can rotate as well as slide about the races. Similarly, the roller can rotate as well as slide along the races. So higher pairs have 2 degrees of freedom. Next is wrapping pair. When one body is completely wrapped around the other is called a wrapping pair. The examples are belts, chains, etc. and such other devices. Let me show a wrapping pair. the two pulley are completely wrapped by the belt, and it is called a wrapping pair. Link. Link is a material body assumed to be rigid. So link is always assumed to be rigid. That is, the body do not have any deformation or negligible deformation. Springs are not considered as link in kinematics, but they play a major role in force analysis, that is kinetics. Belt and chain provide one direction rigidity, that is, when they are in tension they act as a rigid body and they will be considered as link, but when they are in compression they will not act as a rigid body, so they will not be considered as a link when they are in compression. A link connected to one other link is called a singular link. When a link is connected to one other link is called a singular link. If it is connected to two other links, it is called a binary link, and so on. Let me show that. So this link is connected to two links, link 2 and link 3, and it is called a binary link. Whether this link it is connected to three other links, that is link 2, link 3 and link 4, and it is called as ternary link, and so on. This is a quaternary link and it is connected with four other links, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Kinematic chain. A kinematic chain is defined as a series of links connected by kinematic pairs. Let us see. This is a open kinematic chain, whether this is a closed kinematic chain. A closed kinematic chain, every link is connected to at least two other links. So all the links are connected to at least two other links. This link is connected to two links. Here all links are connected to two other links. So in a closed chain, there will be no singular link. That is, singular link is what? The link connected with one other link. So in closed kinematic chain, there will be no singular link. Now let us come to the kinematic diagram. A real-life mechanism is converted to a kinematic diagram during kinematic analysis. Because kinematics is the subject which deals the motion only on geometric aspects. So to make the analysis easier, we'll draw some simple diagram which denotes the geometry only, not all dimensions are required. A fixed link is shown by this symbol in kinematic diagram. This is the real life mechanism. Say a fixed link will be denoted by this. Say this is link number 1. The actual shape of link number 1 is this. We will show in kinematic diagram by this. For this it will be like this. Now for D, link 1 and 2 are connected by a revolute pair in actual real life mechanism. In kinematic diagram, we'll show like this. Similarly here, 1 and 2 are connected by a revolute pair at the midpoint of 1. At that case, in kinematic diagram, we'll show by this configuration. In F, link 1 is connected to link 2, 3 and 4 by 3 revolute pairs. And in kinematic diagram, we will define it by like this. In G, 2 and 1 are connected by a prismatic pair. And in kinematic diagram, a prismatic diagram, a prismatic pair is shown by this configuration. So let us note all this configuration of kinematic diagram. With the help of this, now we have already stated that a IC engine is considered as a slider crank mechanism in kinematics. So this is a IC engine, this is the cylinder, this is the piston, this is the connecting rod, and this is the crank. So this is a complicated diagram, complicated figure of IC engine. So in kinematics, we need only the length of the links. So only the length of the links are important. So we will define it by a slider crank mechanism. So the kinematic diagram of slider crank mechanism looks like this. So these two are revolute pair, and here is one revolute pair. Three revolute pair are shown by these small circles. The fixed one is the cylinder, that is denoted by link number 1. 2 is the crank. So 2, this is the crank. 3 is the connecting rod, and 4 is the piston. So this is the way to represent the kinematic diagram of a real life mechanism. So we have completed our lecture. Thank you for watching this video, and I wish you a best of luck in your GATE examination. Jai Hind.